It was supposed to be the rebirth, a powerhouse of yesteryear, one our parents used to talk about. Rich in tradition, tough in spirit. 2020, North Melbourne officially declared a rebuild. Out went the veterans, in came a fresh list, top picks, concessions, and even a messiah in the shape of former son Alex Clarkson. But here we are in 2025, 4 wins, 14 losses, 1 draw, just 16 wins in 5 years, and no visible plan. This isn't a slump, this is a systematical failure. And today, we're going to look at the Roos, their identity crisis, their broken system, the Clarkson conundrum, and what on earth do you do next? Let's start with cold hard facts. Since the start of this 2020 rebuild, 16 wins, 99 losses, 2 draws, an average finishing position of 17th. 3 different coaches, 2 interims, more than 10 top picks, fielding some of the youngest and most inexperienced sides, and yet somehow North's identity is blurrier than it was in 2020. Saturday night, just gone, their 101-point demolition to Geelong wasn't just a loss, it was an indictment. Cats walked through them, plus 41 inside 50s, contested possessions through the roof, and scores from intercept. And Jeremy Cameron partying like it was 1995. So, what has gone wrong? David King put it recently in an interview that this isn't a talent issue. They field 8 top 12 picks. That includes players such as LDU, Harry Sheasel, Colby McKercher. This midfield isn't devoid of skill. What's missing is connection, structure and clarity. There's no defensive system in place, no cohesion, no ability to absorb pressure or shape behind the ball. Clarkson himself said, if you can't control it in the middle, you're left very, very vulnerable. And here's the kicker. Even when they do win contests, they don't look secure. It's a handball out, then it's a bomb down forward, take territory, and then they crash and fall. Fast movement, then they get hit on the counter. No one, not even the fans or the commentators or the players, can seem to answer what is North's game plan. It seems to be very fluid. And right now, Clarkson is under pressure. 55 games into this heroic tenure, 10 wins, 44 losses, 1 draw. Back-to-back, likely second from bottom and potentially a third in a couple of weeks. The aura that followed Clarkson from Hawthorn is slowly fading fast. Not because I don't think he's capable, but because the players look disinterested, disattached, like they don't really trust the system. We talk about David King, but he said, what is he trying to achieve in his recent interview? Because Clarkson's strength is building a system, one that elevates role players, builds confidence, and unites youth and senior players with a vision. And this isn't translating. And to be fair, it was a mess when he inherited. But North turned down countless offers of relocation. North doubled down and backed him in with a multi-year deal. But the problem is even the best coach in the league over the last 20 years can't fix stupid. And let's talk about the trade. North traded away last year its future first to pick up Matt Whitlock. The future pick is a fantastic, fantastic player, but is he pick 2 in this draft? It's not really convincing. It's a bold strategy, and it's one you have to do to try and get better. But when you look at North's tenure and their picks, they failed to go key back and key forward. And the logic was there. It was a belief to turn things around now, get ahead of the draft, lock in and try and do something. But right now they're giving up pick 2. This is a cost of overestimating your own trajectory. Clarkson defended the move by citing that Nick Larkey was 75 and players do get better. That is fact. But when you are really struggling, you have one of the worst defences in the league and your forward line looks spineless. Sometimes being bold isn't the right. And then we look at that back line. It's one of the more dysfunctional back lines in the league. 10 games, over 100 points, regularly allowing full ground coast-to-coast goals, no intercept threat, no real depth, no identifiable system. Charlie Comden, arguably the best defender, but he was a key forward. And this is a problem. They don't have that star. Pink's serviceable, but it's still raw. It's still not strong. The mid doesn't roll back to help. This isn't just on a young group getting overwhelmed. It's poor structure, poor planning, poor accountability. And you can't tell fans you're rebuilding on this blue-collar defence and consider over 100 points all the time. And the biggest question mark has to go to Brady Rawlings here. He has avoided going key defence and key back. And right now, they are looking devoid of talent down there. And this is a real concern heading in to 2026. They do have 2 picks at the start of the second round, but is that good enough? But what are North Melbourne? Are they a clearance side? Are they built around the pace and skill set of players like McKercher and Sheasel? Are they a scrap team and they build around Wardlaw's contested work? Because right now, these things seem to be fluid and they change and we can't answer it. We've seen rebuilds in play, Hawthorn under Mitchell. We've seen Richmond this year, a real consistent blueprint of playing how you want to in 5 years' time today. It's a group of top picks at the minute at North, thrown together that are shapeless, soulless, and evidently are learning through losses. But what are they learning? And is anyone coming to help? They've tried to land these mature bodies. They've gone after Maynard. He said no. They went after Collins. He said no. The big problem is no one wants to go to North at the minute. So who do they target? This is going to be fascinating. Do they look at someone like Liam Jones in this off-season, give him one final pitch? You would imagine the doggies are going to look to move him on and try and get a younger area. Do they maybe try and pry players away from players that want cap space? Jordan Ridley at Essendon. He's not a great name, but he would shore them up with some ball use and accumulation. What the Roos desperately need for me, though, is development coaches and system coaches in there. That extra money that they had in the soft cap is being eaten away a lot by Clarkson's super contract. So you've got to kind of take a knock on people who are coaching around you. The problem is the development isn't going to help. They have drafted way too midfielders, and right now they've robbed Peter, and Paul is coming to collect the debt. North Melbourne moving forward really have to structure what they bring in and also the personnel behind the doors that really help them guide. And we finish with like the fan base. Does it deserve better? Of course it does. Let's spare a thought for these North fans. We've got our friends of North on this channel, Marnie at Roos TV. They must be the most patient. They've stayed loyal through the relocation was on the table. They cheered through rebuild after rebuild, and they got genuinely excited when Clarkson returned. But what has that achieved? It's been humiliation after humiliation. A team that doesn't sometimes give full effort, a backline that collapses, and is a real identity crisis on the field. They're not just losing, they're losing with no hope, no plan, and no explanation. So where did he go from here? Clarkson have to be backed in 2026. That's locked in. We know that's going to happen. But the season next year for me is a line in the sand. There can be no more lineal growth or learning in losses. This system has to be down pat. Inconsistency in the list profile needs addressing to find a clear game plan, identity, fix that defensive structure immediately, and acquire some experience smartly without giving up on draft capital. We've got a few videos coming up where we look at the unusual ways teams have done it, but they need to win at least 7 and 8 games next year to really head somewhere, because this rebuild hasn't stalled, it's regressed. And next year, I expect with 2 second rounders, they really try and attack free agency, try and bring some players in there, and maybe dangle some of these younger players, Zane Dersma and players like that who haven't quite made the grade, and dangle that to other clubs that may feel like Zane Dersma is better than a lot of players in this draft and worth taking the punt. The harsh truth is, at this moment, the rebuild has failed. You would say Richmond are well ahead of them, and you'd say Eagles will get there. 6 years in, superstar coach, a war chest of picks and salary cap they've used, AFL assistants, and still North look further away from the 8 than they did at the start. And now they don't even have their first rounder this year. This isn't about blaming just players, it's blaming the whole ecosystem. This is about direction, accountability, and more importantly, system. And the Roos desperately need to find all 3. They risk of burning a generational talent and sliding further into the abyss. Let me know your thoughts below, North fans. Has the rebuild failed? What do you want to see in 2026? Let me know all about it. And until next time, Pommy out. Spent all my